It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. If you've ever lost someone that you love, you know the overwhelming pain and sadness that accompanies the death of that person. Your grief may be intense, causing you to spend days, months, and even years longing to see and talk with your loved one. You'd give anything for one more moment. Today's guest, Dr. Jamie Turndorf, believes that relationships don't end with death. She created a new form of grief therapy that combines her conflict resolution techniques with after-death communication. Dr. Turndorf is a relationship therapist, author, and media personality. She writes a relationship column for Psychology Today Online and has authored many books, most recently, Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. Welcome, Dr. Turndorf. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm so happy to be with you. You were starting to tell me, and I muzzled you. I said, tell me on air. You were about to tell me your reaction to the book, and I said, wait, tell me.
Well, as I was going to tell you before the interview, I'm very interested in learning everything that you want to share with us, because I have experienced tremendous loss with the passing of both of my parents and my brother and my sister. So it's very difficult for me being the only member of my nuclear family left. And that pain and that loss really was the catalyst for the work that I'm doing today. And I, like you, spend so much of my time speaking with them and asking for their help. So I believe, and I've experienced personally, everything that we're going to talk about today. So tell us, what happened to your husband? How did he pass? And what began this amazing work that you're doing?
Okay, well, I'll give you a little backstory for everybody listening, because that helps you get a better sense of our story. And the backstory really begins when I was a young girl, Joan. I had a premonition of the guy I was going to marry. I literally saw his face. I saw his body. I saw him fleshed out. And so I decided I'm going to wait until he appears. I'm not going to date. I'm going to wait. It's a very medieval concept, I know, in the modern era, but that's what I did. And he actually did appear on the first day of my freshman year at Vassar College. I had been shut out of all intro sociology classes, and I wanted to take sociology. So I asked the secretary of the department, what can I do? She said, go ask the department chair, Jean Pain, if he can find a seat for you in one of the closed classes. Well, Joan, the minute I stepped into that man's office, I got the message, remember every aspect of this meeting, he's going to be everything to you one day. And then I forgot all about the message and went about my life as a college student. Now, right after meeting Jean, I found out that for most of his life, he had been one of the most famous Jesuit priests in history. He had taught at the Vatican, and he founded a movement called Liberation Theology designed to fight church oppression from within. And he actually launched to international fame when he publicly opposed the Pope and the Catholic Church as they were trying to block the legalization of divorce. He told me years later that he was a radical feminist Jesuit priest, and he didn't want to see women trapped in marriages where they were being abused. So he fought on the grounds of liberation theology. The church should butt out of the private sector, and he won. He got the divorce bill passed, changed the course of Italian history, and soon after, the Pope granted him the dispensation of his vows, so he wasn't excommunicated, and he was recruited by Vassar to be the chair of the Department of Sociology, and he had been there for 10 years on the day that I met him. Now, everybody also needs to know, because this is very important in our story, my background was completely different from Jean's. I was raised by two devoutly atheist Jewish parents. The only religion my parents practiced was religiously hating each other's guts. and mine. And so I never went to synagogue. I never read the Bible. I never discussed, religion at all. Now, 4 years after my fated meeting with Jean, in my senior year, I needed help with the statistical portion of my thesis, and I had heard that, among other things, he had been a prominent statistician, having founded the Vatican's first and only social research center. So even though he wasn't my advisor, I asked him if he would help me with the statistics for my thesis. He cheerfully gave me his time, and within a couple of weeks, we just knew we were crazy for each other, Joan. So from that moment on, we were inseparable for 27 years. Now, in the last year of his life, we both started having a premonition that he was going to, quote unquote, die of an accident. We didn't know when or where it was going to happen. So we go to Italy on our final summer vacation, and one day while we're sitting on the beach, his hand was up over his head as if to block the rays of the sun, and the next thing I know, a bee swooped down and stung his left hand at the exact location of Christ's stigmata. And Joan, I now watched my beloved suffocate to death in front of my eyes. And I go back to the hotel room, and I'm hysterical. I'm lying on the bed. I'm shaking. I'm trembling. I'm crying. The next thing I know, I feel that man's hand stroke the entire length of my spine. Now, I know what I felt. I sit bolt upright. I look over my shoulder. I don't see anything, but I knew he was with me. And he has been with me ever since. And his astonishing manifestations to this day, often in front of witnesses, prove to me we don't die. And therefore our relationships are not meant to end in death. And so I created my groundbreaking new, what I call trans-dimensional grief therapy method that totally diverges from the Western approach to grief, which is grieve, let go, and move on, and do it in 6 months, or else we're going to give you drugs and we're going to give you psychiatric labels. Instead, my method shows you how to say hello, not goodbye, and how to do it without a medium, a channeler, or a psychic. And then there's just one more piece. As a shrink, I know Western grief therapy gives us no way of working out our unfinished business with those in spirit, and millions of people do harbor unfinished business. So once again, my new method shows you not only how to reconnect, but also how to work out your unfinished business.
So from these incredible experiences that you've had, and combined with your scientific training,
yes,
what strategies would you offer to someone who is experiencing tremendous grief, for that person who can't move forward?
To help you reconnect, you have to first shed all the false beliefs that block you from reconnecting. So since we don't have much time in the interview, I'll just tell one false belief that when people hear this, it really starts to begin the process for them. And this one is, we are told that it's not possible to reconnect with our loved ones in spirit. Once they're in heaven, they're out of reach, and you got to wait till you die to be reconnected. Heaven is a state, not a place. Heaven is all around us. Heaven is here and now. The point being, we're not supposed to wait to die to be reunited with loved ones in heaven, because heaven is all around us and it's here and now. We're supposed to reconnect and stay connected to our loved ones in spirit, and we're supposed to do it now. So that's just one of the false beliefs that I help people overcome. There are so many others, and I just want to demystify this for everybody listening. What we're essentially talking about here is energy and energetic communication. Human beings energetically communicate every day. You park at a light, you look over at the driver in the neighboring car. The driver always looks back at you, right? Because he senses the energetic frequency of your gaze. Twins living on opposite ends of the world, they know when the other's in trouble. Energy. So Einstein said when we leave our bodies, energy cannot be destroyed. And we also now know through quantum physics that 95% of our universe is comprised of what they call dark matter, which can't reflect light. And we now understand that our loved ones in spirit are in the dark matter. They put behind them the turtle shell of their bodies, and the energy of their soul essence is now residing in the dark matter. And learning to communicate with your loved ones in spirit is nothing more than sending and receiving energetic signals. And the first thing we need to do is what I call create a state of receptivity, because our Western world is very noisy. It doesn't enable us to be still enough and quiet enough. So the more open you are, the easier it is for spirit to come through to you and for you to recognize the signs that they are sending. For most people, recognizing the signs is all that's needed to begin the reconnection. And remember now, because spirit beings are freed from the physical vessel of the body, they are able to energetically influence the material world in infinite ways. And their signs are practically infinite, sounds and scents and footsteps and physical sensations and chills and drafts and things. The list goes on. And I show you how to dialogue in many ways. One of the ways is by making the signs and the earthly props, the electronic devices, tools through which you can talk back and forth. And then I also show you how you can engage in a direct dialogue in writing, recording your dialogue, and recording what they say back, and how to do this back and forth until you arrive at resolution of whatever your unresolved issue is.
The book is Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased by Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you'd like to get more information about the book or Dr. Turndorf, you can visit her website, askdrlove.com. That's askdrlove.com. Dr. Turndorf, in about 30 seconds or less, what would you like to leave the listeners with?
It is my passion to let you know that you can allow the mystery to unfold by not believing everything you've been told. And Love Never Dies helps you reconnect and begin your journey back to your loved ones and transform your grief to joy.
Dr. Turndorf, thank you so much for being here. As I said in the beginning, grief can be crippling for so many of us, and you've provided some amazing information to help us begin the healing process. So thank you for being here and sharing.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
We'll be right back. Hi, this is Joan Herman, host of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Did you know that Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life has a free monthly digital magazine that can be read online or emailed to your inbox? Every month, nationally recognized leaders in their field provide information to educate, inspire, and motivate you. We believe in a holistic approach to life, incorporating mind, body, and spirit. Check out a copy of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life 24/7. Visit cyacyl.com and be sure to tell your friends. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read the digital magazine, and be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.